YouTube! Welcome to the Fantasy Football Perspective. This is Andrew, BJ, and I's weekly show, the Daily Fantasy Perspective, where we recap the Fanduel slate this coming Sunday. Usually the $1 Million Maker, now it's about $300K to the first prize. We give you our plays of the week, recap how we did last week. Andrew and I are coming solo today. BJ is going to be represented by this water bottle. So I'll keep him in the picture. He has some picks for us too. How you doing today, BJ? I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Andrew?
I'm doing well. No BJ, no $1 Million Mitch today.
Mitch.
Just us two. Looks like we got a pretty good slate coming up this week. Looking forward to getting into it.
We got $1 Billion Bottle here. We'll get it going. We're going to get into our slate, but as always, we're transparent on this show. Touchdown calls of the week last week were not very good. I think we all actually went 0 for 2 for the first time. BJ had Josh Jacobs and Devontae Parker. A little bit of a handicap. We do the show on Thursdays, and Devontae Parker didn't end up playing. He also liked Jalen Waddle too, which didn't score. So our lineup was a little funky because we had Tua and Devontae Parker in there, and neither of them actually played. So we pivoted. I don't know what you guys pivoted to in your lineup. I know in the lineup I did. I just went Brissett and put Waddle in there. I didn't really change much. What about you?
Yeah. Same thing. If I had any Dolphins, I just pivoted off of Parker and went with a lineup with Brissett.
Mm-hmm. I was the same. It's just like it was too easy and just an easy switch, about the same price. Your touchdown calls of the week were?
I had Aaron Jones, who looked like he was set up for a good day with Jordan Love in there, but Packers offense they don't look the same without Aaron Rodgers. They're a completely different team. They look lost, honestly. And I had Darren Waller, and he did not score either.
He had a good game though. He was a really good.
He had a real good game. He had a ton of targets,
92
yards, over 100 yards.
Yeah. And then I kind of had 3 touchdown calls the week. I had Myles Gaskin. We threw him in the lineup. He ended up scoring. But my 2 receivers, Emmanuel Sanders and, I'm trying to think of my other one. Emmanuel Sanders and Deebo Samuel both just had okay games. Nothing great. Let's go ahead and see how they did.
It's Brandon Ayuk. I mean, he went out and scored a touchdown.
And that's going to happen sometimes with that offense. But it's all right. We're moving on to bigger and better things. How did you do in your slates? I think you sent us. I can't remember how much money you put in, how much money you got out.
Yeah, Adam and I, my brother, we were in for around $134, and we came out winning 98. So, not a bad day. Yeah,
that's not bad at all. And I put in about 80 and ended up with about 40, half my budget. So, not bad. That's kind of like the cutoff where I feel like it's okay if you lose half your bankroll. You're not losing everything. You have enough money to carry over to the next week. That's about where I stand. But let's dig into this. A lot of juicy games on this slate. I think there are lots of good matchups this year that favor the offense. And let's dig in real quick. Tampa, Washington over under 51. Detroit, Pittsburgh 43. Saints, Titans, 44. Atlanta, Dallas, 55. Woo! Cleveland, New England, 45. Buffalo, New York Jets, 47.5. Jacksonville, Indianapolis, 47.5. Minnesota, LA Chargers, 53. Carolina, Arizona, 44.5. Philly, Denver, 45.5. Seattle, Green Bay, 49. Some good matchups with some high scores up there. And then we got
high point totals. That's what we like.
Dallas in the 30s, Tampa in the 30s, Indianapolis 29, Buffalo 29, Chargers 28, almost 29, and Arizona 27, almost 28. A lot of different positions that you can go this week. So as always, we start off with our QB play of the week. The floor is yours, Andrew.
QB play of the week is Mr. Tom Brady up there for 8,300. And I'll tell you, I think a lot of people are going to be on the Justin Herbert train and some of those other high potent guys. But I think a lot of people will forget about Tom Brady this week. A little bit less owned. I think he's going up against a just terrible Washington pass defense. So a lot of different ways you could stack him this week. He's got a couple cheap options, a couple guys questionable.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
I'll be getting creative with Tom Brady sacks this week.
And we're getting to that point of the season where injuries are just creeping up all over the place. It's like,
oh, it's crazy.
People aren't practicing Wednesday and Thursday, then still coming out Sunday and playing. So keep an eye on there. There's some good pivots this week that I think you need to keep an eye on. But Tom Brady, very good pick. I'm gonna go ahead and ask BJ or $1 Billion Bottle who his pick of the week is, and who you got, Bottle? I'm taking Kirk Cousins.
Oh wow,
a little Kirk Cousins action, and LA Chargers. Actually, a pretty good pass defense. But let's dig into this. 25 points going into the slate projecting, and Kirk Cousins, that sneaky play. You know what I mean? He gets you about 20 most nights. He broke the 25-point barrier 3 times, broke the 20-point barrier 5 out of 8 times. So the odds are in your favor. And check this out: the better defense he plays, the better he plays, which is a little bit weird. And
plays up to the competition.
Nice. Could be a score fest in Minnesota. Very good pick. My play of the week is Dak Prescott going against that atrocious Atlanta pass defense. Probably the worst defense in the NFL, if I had to guess. You know, didn't have an explosive game last week, but still put up nearly 20 fantasy points in garbage time. Bounce back week for sure. The whole offense didn't show up, and they're the highest scoring potential on the slate, according to Vegas. So, Dallas Cowboys, get him in your lineup. I'm going to be stacking him with either Amari, CD. I might even do a full Amari and CD stack. Haven't decided yet, but I really, really like this matchup this week.
See, I'll tell you, I like Dak Prescott too. He's probably my number 2 quarterback, but they laid an egg last week at home. That is not going to happen again.
I hope that scares some people off, honestly.
Yeah. It probably will.
I think so too. People don't like that. So, any darts that you're throwing, some secret sauce this week that you like, other matchups?
Oh man, I love Carson Wentz. He seems to be getting things rolling. He's cheap. You can pair him up with Jonathan Taylor. He gets involved in the pass game and throw in Pittman or another receiver in there. Pair him up that way. We saw what Jacksonville's defense did to Buffalo.
That was surprising.
Yeah, it was surprising. But I don't think that they can keep that going. So I'll be throwing some darts at Carson Wentz, and I'll be throwing some darts at Russell Wilson too for 7,500. I think people might be a little bit hesitant with coming off the injury, but it's Russell Wilson. So I think definitely he could just go off at any time.
His was just a finger, right?
Yeah, it's just a finger. So pretty healthy point total there. Why not? Throw him in a couple lineups.
Yep, I like that. I like those two a lot. Yeah, man, I think we're on the same page in a lot of this. Might throw Roethlisberger against that Detroit defense in.
Always an option. Yeah,
he's cheap, and I mean they should put up some points. So I don't know what their projected total is. 26 points, pretty much. That's probably going to be 2 to 3 passing touchdowns, honestly. And Najee's not practicing. Again, something to keep an eye on. Which should open up that short passing game to Claypool and Deontay. Kind of 2 good receiver options later down the road. Last but not least, I think you have to roll back to Josh Allen. At least get him in one lineup against the Jets. The Jets have been playing sneaky good football the last couple weeks. But Josh Allen projected 30-point total. They're not going to lay another egg. Expect a bounce back week.
Way.
I mean, that looked like rookie Josh Allen, and that just hasn't happened in a long time. He's pretty standard 20 to 30 fantasy points a week.
Justin Herbert, probably throw him in a couple as well. He'll be a very popular pick.
Justin Herbert.
He'll be a popular pick, but definitely probably want to throw a couple with him in there.
That is probably BJ's line of thought, that everyone's going to be on the Herbert train, so he's going to go opposite of that in the score fest, which is not a bad idea.
Never a bad idea.
We were kind of talking off camera. I always make a lineup before we start, and I send it to you guys, see what you guys think. And I think it's pretty consensus about all three of us that this is the week to probably spend up for running back. All the best running backs have some super, super juicy matchups, and that starts with Dalvin Cook against the Chargers. Chargers' run defense is somebody you need to target. They can't tackle. I don't know what's going on. Their pass defense is pretty good, but their run defense has not been good at all. Dalvin Cook should feast. And you look at the defenses he faced this year, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and he has been producing at a pretty high level. Despite that, the schedule's loosening up towards the end here, and Dalvin Cook should be a monster this week.
Oh, he's going to kill it.
What about yours?
Yep. Dalvin Cook was my number one lock of the week for running back. But I also love Najee Harris. If he plays, I mean, just pure volume, 20, 30 carries a game, 25 to 30 carries a game. I mean, the guy just gets the workload. And, I mean, it's almost a 3-way tie between Cook, Najee Harris, and Jonathan Taylor this week. All beast running backs.
All great matchups, man.
Great matchups, but I'm partial to Dalvin Cook this week against the Chargers. Terrible run defense.
Terrible, man. And probably be chalky. That's okay. I think you can fit him in this week. BJ's is going down a little bit to the guy who took over and exploded last week, James Conner. He's probably going to be a bit chalky this week as well.
100%.
Kind of expensive, so maybe that chases some people off that. Carolina does have a fairly good run defense, but let's be honest, that Arizona Cardinals passing attack spreads the field and opens big-time gaps for these running backs. So a little bit of volume. He's probably going to get, 80 to 100 yards and probably find the end zone. So I like James Conner a lot this week as well. Definitely going to have him in the lineup. Some other darts that I'm going to be throwing. You gotta look at this Eckler on the other side. He has a dream matchup. And how about Dearness Johnson? We saw what he did. Chubb is probably out. Dearness Johnson's sitting there. You got to throw him in the lineup. If he's the only healthy running back on the Browns, he is guaranteed 20 to 25 carries. No one else is guaranteed that volume for 5,400. No. So pay attention to that.
Square.
I mean, that is free in the fantasy world. And I got two other names that I'm really targeting. I love the Denver backfield this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Javonte or Melvin Gordon, you have your pick. And here's my sneakiest pick of the week. Going down here, J.D. McKissick against Tampa. If you think back to week 1 when the Cowboys played Tampa, super, super tough, you have to think about how they ran their offense. Everything was on the outside of the tackles. They never ran up the middle. J.D. McKissick should be 10 catches this week on the outside and outside reads. They keep slamming Antonio Gibson up the middle. Gibson's not hitting any of my lineups against this defense. I love J.D. McKissick in this matchup. Cheap again, pretty much free. And I'm predicting 6 to 10 catches. Very, very easy.
McKissick, I mean, he's like a wide receiver lined up back there in the backfield. That's a really good pick, I think. How do you feel about Devin Singletary?
He's hitting the
Zach Moss. Zach Moss is out, concussion. So he's going to be the only one.
He listed today. He practiced today.
Oh, he was a limited participant.
Ooh. Something to keep an eye on for sure. If Moss is out, Singletary's locked in.
Yeah, for sure. He's got the backfield to himself. I know the Patriots have some people in the backfield that are hurt too. Don't really like playing running backs against the Browns, but if they only have one on the roster, that's something to keep an eye on too. I think Brandon Bolden might be the only one they have.
If that's the fact, he wasn't spot. Harris has a concussion. Bolden catches too, and that's something that you can expose the Browns on, is a running back you can catch. So definitely keep an eye on that. How much? Oh, there he is. He's free too.
Yep. A couple other guys I really like playing this week. Cordell Patterson. If I'm doing a Cowboys stack, I would definitely bring it back with the Falcons player, and Cordell Patterson pretty much plays every position. So
Locked 15 points a
he
week, no doubt.
yeah. So definitely want to keep an eye on him. I'll definitely throw him in a couple lineups, and I like Leonard Fournette as well. Um, in a possible stack, they use him in the passing game as well. And if the game gets out of hand, Fournette's going to take over.
Yep, I like that. How do you feel about Aaron Jones, kind of a bounce back week?
Yep, I have him listed here as well. He's definitely going to hit a couple of my lineups.
Mm-hmm.
I probably top 10 running back this week. Pretty good spot for a bounce back for Aaron Jones against Seattle.
I mean, he only had 12 carries last week. He's going to be fresh. And I'm just looking. He had 5 carries week 1, then came back with 17. He had 6 carries a couple of weeks ago, comes back with 15. Seems like they just have like almost a built-in rest day for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think we're all in consensus. I like your picks. I think we can move on to the receivers. Who's your receiver of the week?
Receiver of the week, Mike Evans.
Love it.
For 7,400. Pairing him up with Brady in just about every lineup. Chris Godwin, don't know if he's going to be able to play this week. Antonio Brown definitely out. Means a lot of volume for Mike Evans at a pretty decent price, I think. 7,400. I don't know how you beat it.
I'm going to keep it right here, man. This is my play of the week, too. Now, this is dependent on the injury situation. Now, I guess Antonio Brown got out of his boot and was practicing a little bit today. So keep an eye on that. If none of those guys play, Mike Evans is going to get 10 to 15 targets. There's just nobody else.
Easily.
And Washington has nobody to guard him. And he should feast. BJ's play of the week is going Mr. Expensive route, Devontae. I mean, no one's going to be able to guard him for the Seattle Seahawks. They don't have a corner that's going to be able to.
He's matchup proof.
Matchup proof. Rodgers is back. He had a down week. You know, they kind of make it up. I mean, look at his bounce back weeks. Scores 9, comes back 32. Scores 8, comes back 16. It's like locked and loaded. Sometimes he breaks the slate. So you have to have him in a couple lineups.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you watch my sleeper starts, sleeper sits video, I really, really like New Orleans Saints receivers this week against the Titans. The Titans just give up a lot of yards in the air. They not many points per se, but they give up a lot of points. So whichever one you like the most, I keep going back to the Callaway train. I just like Marquez Callaway. And I can't even find him. I thought he was 5,500.
Deontay Harris?
Deontay Harris is a sneaky play. And the reason is he only plays 30% of the snaps, but usually gets the ball every time he's in there. 30% of the snaps and got 8 targets last game. Something to keep an eye on. Traquan Smith's a good play too. All of them probably going to get an option for me. What about you? Any other ones that you like?
Pick your poison on the Cowboys receiver. Probably mix and match them in a couple lineups. I think you have to at least take one of them. I love Michael Pittman, 7,200. The dude's been on fire lately. Still, I mean, look at that, 7,200. That's pretty cheap for a guy who's been, 18 points, 25 points, 14. He's consistent.
Very consistent. Good.
Him and Carson Wentz seem to be on the same page. Tyler Lockett, now that Russell Wilson is back, I will definitely be looking his way. Pretty cheap option there. If you want, we're going to be spending up on running backs. These 7,000 receivers and below are pretty good. Mike Williams scares me, but I'm still going to be on the train for a little bit. He's due. Bad.
He's due.
Yeah, he's due. I mean, the dude is talented. He's a monster. I think you got to get him in a couple lineups, throw a couple darts. The game's high scoring. So, how do you feel about Tyler Johnson for the Bucs if everybody's injured?
Sneaky. I think they're going to play. I just don't. I just don't think Brady cares who's in there, man. I just really don't. He throws it to.
It's true.
He throws it to
He don't
who
care.
the offense says to throw it during that play. He does not care. So if the play calling is designed and Tyler Johnson's one of the 3 people out there, he should give you guaranteed 5 catches and always has that potential for a touchdown because Brady's just going to run the offense. How much is Tyler Johnson?
Stack. Tyler Johnson, what is he, 53 maybe, I think, when I look in that area.
I think he's cheaper than that.
He might be cheaper than that. Yeah.
But that's a sneaky pick.
We can't even find him.
5,100.
Wow. I mean, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
You can fit him in easy.
Yep, I like
9 points. 9 points against New Orleans.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, keep an eye on that Tampa situation.
Yeah, a lot of players there in question.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get some sneaky value.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think you got to throw a Pittsburgh receiver in there, especially if Najee is not in there. I really like Deontay in that situation because they really use him almost like a running back on the outside, get the ball out to him fast and get it. He's always going to get, 5 receptions pretty much every single game. And he's just so consistent, man. 12 to 20
the volume's there.
12 to 20 carry or pick or points a week. It's going to keep rolling. All right. Let's move to your tight end call of the week.
Tight end call of the week, 5,100, Dan Arnold. I know it's probably a little bit crazy, but it's they use him in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
There's no denying that. 10 targets, 7 targets, and just look at that price, 5,100. Eventually, I mean, he's going to find the end zone eventually.
Yep,
that's what I'm strictly going off of.
Mm-hmm.
And for that price, if it leaves me to spend up a running back, I'll definitely be throwing him in quite a few lineups.
I'm going to give you 2. I'm going to give you 1 if all those receivers sit out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Give me O.J. Howard at 4,600 free. I mean, he's getting more and more volume. Once he actually plays, he gets 7 targets. And if you take Godwin and Brown out of there and you're left with Evans and O.J. Howard, you got to expect both of them to hit that end zone. That's my guess. But if everybody's playing, I think you got to go with just a high-scoring game and try to get just a part of that game. And I really, really like Dalton Schultz again, man. I just think he's going to get back on track. And I just love this matchup for the Cowboys in the passing game.
He's due.
BJ with the surprise pick of the week, kind of with his QB stack. He loves Tyler Conklin against the LA Chargers, who aren't very good against the tight end. And Conklin's been getting 7 targets a game the last couple of weeks, 5 targets boosted, kind of that last man on the offense that no one really accounts for. Pretty dream matchup, to be honest with you. Any other people that you like this week?
I like Dallas Goddard. Click on him.
Gotcha.
He sees the targets.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty consistent. 10, 5 points. He's the only one there in Philly as a tight end, so they use him quite a bit. I like him. Pretty cheap. I like Noah Fant. He's back. I believe he's back.
He is. He just got off the COVID list. That's I love Noah Fant this week.
Yeah, that's a pretty good sneaky pick. Mm-hmm. Decent price point.
Any Dawson Knox?
I don't have any Dawson Knox on my radar, but I don't hate the pick at all. I like Jared Cook too. Just one of those high scoring games, throwing a dart. You never know.
Yeah, that's pretty much a wrap with tight ends. You're throwing darts. Who's going to get
Freiermuth?
Who's going to get
Freiermuth can be popular.
Yep, he's been exploding. He's scored 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks, so he's going to be he's going to be chalky, but it could be worth it again. Who they play? They play Detroit. He's going to be chalky.
Yeah,
could be
he's
a good
very
pick,
chalky.
Defenses. I've taken a quick peek. Can you go wrong with any of these top 4 defenses?
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't really have a favorite looking at those 4.
I have all 4 of them on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
for some cheap options. I mean, maybe the Titans, they've been on fire here lately.
Yep.
You just never know what New Orleans is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers, I like them as well.
Panthers, going against Arizona. I also am probably going to throw a dart, surprisingly, at the Eagles. I just think, check down Teddy is kind of overrated. And this is what I like about the Eagles. They have a chance to explode.
Look at that.
There's not many defenses at this point range that has a chance to actually explode. And I think that Philadelphia Eagles are one of them, but I do like the Panthers pick too, and they're about the same price. Keep an eye on Kyler Murray's status.
If he's back, I'm off of
him. Yeah, definitely.
So scroll down there. How much is Lions?
Lions are 3,100 free.
Are you going to take a chance, Ben, throwing a pick six?
It's always possible.
It could happen.
Especially if Najee's out, the Lions are raising in my eyes up the boards a little bit.
I'm serious. Like, if you're just throwing a complete dart and punting defense, he could throw some interceptions. You never know.
BJ's favorite defense of this week is the Cleveland Browns. I think that's a pretty good pick too. Yeah. They're starting to hit their stride. Looked lively. And again, these explosion games are hidden inside what they did this year. So watch out for that. And I like all those. I really do. But we are to the time, Mr. Andrew. We are here. We are going to give you guys our touchdown calls of the week, where we predict 2 players to score a touchdown. We form a lineup using those 2 players, and we try to win you some cash. So
I hope nobody picked my players.
I hope so too. I'm gonna go ahead and let you pick first.
All
and then
right.
I'm gonna give BJ's.
I'm taking the easy route. I'm taking Dalvin Cook.
Oh, I love it. You already took mine. But I think that's hard not to take.
It's hard. I mean, it's just he's in a heck of a matchup this week.
Yep. And what is your other pick?
My second one is Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, back on the Mike Williams train.
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead.
I think he's due.
I'm going to go ahead and take the easy route too and just lock in Mike Evans. I think that's too juicy. Staring at me in the eyes.
Love it.
For my running back, I think I am going to go a little bit cheaper, and I think I'm going to go someone that I don't think I've ever picked this year. I'm gonna lock in Melvin Gordon, I think, to a touchdown this week.
Hey,
he's the red zone guy.
I like it. He is.
And
yep.
He scores, man. I mean, look at that. Touchdown, receiving touchdown. 10 points his last 3 weeks. I think that's a pretty safe option this week.
He's consistent. I thought maybe he would be a trade target at the deadline, but they like him.
They really like him. BJ's, he's going back to the James Conner train, locking in Mr. James Conner. And one of the people you just talked about, Andrew, he is locking in Michael Pittman.
I like it.
So I love that setup. So we have these receivers. Wasn't your QB called the week Tom Brady?
Yes, it was.
We are throwing him in there, which isn't going to leave us with much money. But let's do this real quick.
We have some cheap options.
We both liked Carolina. We both like Detroit. We both like the Eagles. Who do you say we go with?
I think we have a cheap option at tight end coming up, so I think we can maybe spend up a little bit here on defense.
Okay, let's see. Let's lock in someone here. Who are we going to take?
I like your option.
Let's go with OJ Howard. This is subject to change based on news out of Buccaneers camp, but then we're locked with kind of a cheap still. So we have the Eagles, the Panthers. Who do you
Let's
like?
go Panthers.
Let's go Panthers. Keep an eye on this. This is a riskier lineup than what we usually do, but the truth is everything points to Kyler not playing. Everything points to Godwin not playing at this point. So keep an eye on that. This is our lineup of the week. Where we win you some money, baby.
I like it. I think we got some pretty good picks there. We got decently expensive receivers paired with a nice quarterback. I like it a lot.
I think it's going to be pretty unique as well. You going to play any daily fantasy football tonight?
I do. I have a couple lineups in, but I've been kind of waiting around to see if Tua is going to be starting or not. I don't think there's been an announcement on whether Tua is starting.
He is not.
He is not?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Jacoby Brissett starting.
That changes things a little bit.
Who you liking in that matchup?
You mean to win the game?
Or just for fantasy purposes, I guess.
Oh, I like let's see, Bateman's 8,500. So I have Lamar paired up with Bateman, picking up Gesicki and Brissett, and punting a low end player there. There's a couple of receivers. Preston Williams, I think he might get a couple targets. You never know.
I really like Mark Andrews tonight for whatever reason. I just think he's going to explode.
Yeah, I mean you just never know. He could always have a 2-touchdown game out of nowhere.
Yeah, these Thursday night games are so wacky, though. It wouldn't surprise me if the Dolphins come out and win randomly. Really.
I know.
Weird. But
you never know.
Any final words for the audience?
No, pretty good looking slate. I hope we're able to help you guys win some money. Definitely tune into Legacy Lineup if you guys haven't on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yep. Also, half-year update coming out tomorrow where it's already filmed, already ready to go. Half-year update, something I do with a couple of my friends who are super fans of the Browns, Bengals, Eagles, and Steelers. I just get their reaction, their feel on their teams at this point. They give me the inside news if there's anything breaking inside that I'm not aware of. And they kind of focus on those teams for me and give the audience an update of the feeling of the franchise at this point. So check that out tomorrow. That's kind of a special episode of the week. As always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and remember, this is our perspectives. I hope you all have a good night. Ravens big tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Peace.
See ya.